We all know the news causes swings in the market, so it's important to stay on top of everything that's going on. So with that, let's run down everything happening this week. Today and tomorrow, the Bank of England's Governor Andrew Bailey will speak, likely about monetary policy plans moving forward. On Tuesday, Australian CPI will be reported, and skipping ahead to Thursday, German preliminary CPI will be reported, along with US GDP and unemployment claims. Wrapping up the week Friday, we'll get Canada's new GDP numbers for the month as well. Don't forget that you can watch a stream live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time right here on the A1 Trading YouTube channel. All right, everybody, so back in the Edge Finder, let's go ahead and check out the market heat map to see how all of our assets are trending so far today. So up here towards the top, I can see GBP JPY, CAD JPY, CHF JPY, Euro JPY, USD ZAR, and USD JPY. So our yen crosses certainly seem to be flying off the shelves today. They are making moves to the upside, GBP JPY being the biggest mover so far today, up 0.93%. Down here towards the bottom, however, I can see gold, NZD CAD, NZD CHF, Aussie CHF, USD CAD, and USD CHF. So we got a nice little mix of US crosses, Swiss franc crosses, and Canadian dollar crosses as well. But gold is the biggest mover to the downside, down 1.42% on the day right there. Let's go back into the watch list, and we've already got the neutrals removed, but I'm going to remove any indices or commodities that we might have before we get into our currency breakdown. So we have two strong buys, USD ZAR and USD CAD, and we have two strong sells, Aussie NZD and Aussie USD. Now, these four pairs right here, these two right here and these two right here, have been hovering around that strong bias for a while now. USD ZAR, USD CAD, Aussie NZD, Aussie USD were all in the strong buy or sell category last week as well. And in some instances, for example, USD CAD and I believe Aussie USD as well. In fact, I'm going to show you a feature of the Edge Finder that I think is a really cool one that's kind of tucked away down here at the very bottom. I'm not sure if a lot of people even know about this tool, but it's very, very useful. It's called the Historical Backtest tool. And so what I'm going to show you really quickly is I mentioned that USD CAD has been a strong buy bias for a while now. Well, we can actually go to the historical backtest and see why that is. So if I select USD CAD from this list right here. Do you have any questions about any of our products or services? Right now, members of the A1 Trading team are standing by, waiting to assist you. You can head over to our website, a1trading.com, and click the icon in the bottom right-hand corner to chat with one of our team members live. You can also go to a1trading.com/contact and fill out the Contact Us form, and someone will get back to you shortly. We have our helpful and friendly members of our support staff ready to chat with you anytime Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. So what are you waiting for? If you have any questions, feel free to chat with us live right now on the A1 Trading website. It'll show me this red line is the actual price chart of USD CAD. So we can see market open, market close, but this red line is how it was trending throughout the day. And we can see that strong buy bias right here. This +8 score is a strong buy bias, and so February 18th was the first day that we had this strong buy bias, and it has just carried through ever since then. And it's very clear to see why. So around February 11th, February 14th, around this range right here, started making moves to the upside, and it just kept going and going and going and going, and it has come down a bit since then, but has popped back up, and it's just kind of been remaining it's just kind of been moving sideways. It hasn't really fallen back off, but it's been moving sideways, and based on all of the fundamental data, the seasonality data, COT data, and all of that other stuff that we have in the Edge Finder, it projects that it will continue to move forward. So you know what, why don't we break down USD CAD today, just because we just took a look at it in the historical backtest, so we can see why it's still getting that strong buy bias, even though it's been moving kind of sideways as of late. So score of +7, COT data is a score of +2, and retail sentiment is a score of +1. We can see over here COT data, or institutional trader data. This is what smart money traders are going long and short on, and we can see that smart money traders or institutional traders are favored long on the US dollar, 68.43% long there, and favored short on the Canadian dollar, 80.08% there. So buying the dollar, selling the Canadian dollar, and we can see retail sentiment here as well. Retail traders are favored short on USD CAD, 68% short, 32% long. The reason that retail sentiment gets a +1 score, even though it is favored on the short side from day traders, is because unfortunately, a lot of times the way that the crowd is moving, it tends to do the opposite. Markets tend to reverse from what the crowd is doing. So retail sentiment shows you what everyone else is doing, and oftentimes the market actually does the opposite. But yeah, so seasonality favored at 68% short there, or retail sentiment favored 68% short there. Seasonality is a score of +1, and we can see that in the month of March right here, over the last 10 years, if you isolate just the month of March and take a look at how USD CAD trended throughout that month, historically speaking, you would notice that it tends to perform a little bit bullishly, which of course has been the case this month as well. Our trend reading is a score of +1, and we just kind of took a look at it in the historical backtest, but we can see a little bit more of an in-depth view right here. So I mentioned that it had kind of been moving sideways, and not just sideways, but actually been trending upwards just a little bit. It's been making some slight moves to the upside each day since about March 22nd. So for about the past 5 days, it's gone up just a little bit here, but price forecast does project that based on all of this other information that we're pulling in, that it will continue to move up. We can finish off with our fundamentals right here: GDP growth, unemployment, and interest rates, all scores of +1. Inflation is our lone score of -1 here. And we can see that US GDP growth is currently 2.7% compared to 0% in Canada. US inflation is 6% compared to 5.2% in Canada. Unemployment rate in the US 3.6% compared to 5% here. And interest rates on the US dollar 5% compared to 4.5% on the Canadian dollar. So there we go. That was a quick breakdown of USD CAD along with some of the historical backtest information that is super useful to take a look at as well. I mean, we have so many different tabs here in the Edge Finder, all with super useful data to help you find better trading entries. So again, if you are interested in doing it, head on over to the A1 Trading website where you can chat to one of our representatives live right now, and they can get you a trial access to the Edge Finder today.
So let's take a look at some charts. The first thing I want to start with is the dollar. Taking a look at the dollar here, you can see that we are sort of in this downward decline recently, but we had a nice little pop there on Friday. So you can see Friday we had a pop to the upside there. Dollar bullishness briefly came in. There's been some fears about the banking systems and that sort of thing. But now going into this week so far, a slight decline on the dollar. We'll see if this thing can make any sort of significant gains. Now, in terms of a daily chart perspective, where is the dollar at? Well, it's kind of in this weird limbo period where it's not necessarily in a bullish trend, but it's also not necessarily in a bearish trend. But here are two things that I'm paying attention to on the dollar right now. I don't have a super strong bias on it. I was bullish for a little while here, and it kind of fell apart on me. So I've been on the sidelines with the dollar recently. Now, in terms of, let's call them decision points on this chart, if we're able to break through the lows or the highs of this daily chart, this is where I think things get really interesting for the dollar. And it seems like the dollar is on sort of a path to the downside right now, down to retest this 101.5. Now, why do I highlight these two zones? What's significant about them? Well, again, guys, we are looking at a daily chart, and we will break this down on the lower time frames in a minute. But right now, we're looking at the daily chart, where significant resistance has held here for the past several months, as well as support was found around that 101.5. As the dollar charged its way back down to the 100 mark, bulls were able to completely stop that idea and push it back up. Now, the problem is for the bulls that there was a total failure around 105.5. I thought we would pull back and then try and break through. I was wrong about that. So my dollar idea to the long side has sort of fallen apart. And why is this? We have to talk fundamentals for a second, because when we talk fundamentals, well, there's a lot of fear that, hey, the Fed's printer is back on to cover with this banking system. And there's also sort of the argument for a Federal Reserve, a pivot, right? Going back more towards less and less rate hikes, 25 basis points at the max, and now potentially even stopping here in 2023. And perhaps even some are arguing for rate cuts. That's going to cause the dollar to have some bearishness to it, which of course has been sort of the market sentiment recently. I think it's very, very likely that the dollar will come down in the next couple weeks here to test this 101.5 mark. Now, the bigger question, though, is whether or not we're going to actually get enough speed, enough momentum, enough bearishness to break through the lows. And if so, the dollar looks like a longer term sell. Right now, like I said, we are still caught between. It could surprise us and start to sort of charge back up if the Federal Reserve gets fearful around inflation again and sort of talks up rate hikes further than expected. That could be the scenario. But right now, like I said, I'm pretty unbiased on the dollar. I don't really have a lot of interest in trading dollar crosses at this particular time, except for one particular pair that I like on the short side, which is the Australian dollar, US dollar. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart here. And you can see we had this sort of upward trajectory going on for the Australian dollar. And then it kind of fell apart here. So on this candle here on Friday, we saw a lot of momentum pick up to the downside. In my personal opinion, there could be some great opportunities to sort of short rallies on the Australian dollar against the US dollar. Particularly like levels like this 38.2% retracement, which if we line up with resistance here, and again, we are looking at the 4-hour chart currently, guys. We started on the daily. We're working our way down a little bit. There may be something here, like a pullback into this 38.2 could offer some resistance to see a continuation play. I have a bearish bias on this one, and I'll show you guys why. If I go over here, you can see Australian dollar, US dollar is one of the top sells right now on our software. And I'll show you that in more detail here as we pull up the major currency pairs. I'm going to go to Australian dollar against the US dollar. We get a -8 on this chart. Now, for the newer viewers here, the software that you're looking at is called the Edge Finder. And the Edge Finder is it is a software tool that combines many different metrics outside of just technical analysis. It's looking at things like the commitment of traders data. It's looking at retail sentiments, looking at the seasonality trends that we study here, GDP growth, inflation, unemployment, interest rates. It's combining all these factors and generating a report on each one of the assets that we pay attention to. So currently we can read this chart really quick. We get a -8 summation or total score. COT data. This is an interesting one. So we're getting -2. This is due to the fact that the dollar is very heavily long by institutional traders, whereas the Australian dollar, guys, has a very high short interest from smart money, from institutional traders. Now, we flip it around, we ask ourselves, well, what about the retail crowd? Are they buying or shorting the Australian dollar? Well, you can see right here, 75% of retail traders currently, according to the position tracker that we have, 75% are long. So they're betting that this market will go up. Smart money is betting that the market will go down. Generally speaking, I would rather side with the smart money side of things. The COT data backs a short bias. Okay, cool. Seasonality. We can also take a look at seasonality. We're in the month of March. March is ending. So here's something to be concerned about. We historically see a tick to the upside during the month of April, which is right around the corner. But in the month of March, we historically see a tendency to go down on the Australian dollar, US dollar. This seasonality data is available within the software. What it does is it basically tracks, historically speaking, what a particular asset tends to do by month of year. Now, we also have some cool updates that we're working on that are going to go beyond just month of year. That is top secret stuff, but stay tuned on that. It'll be cool. If you already have the Edge Finder, we'll have more seasonality data for you coming out soon. Frank is working on that. Frank is one of our team members here. He's working on some more seasonality data, which would be really, really cool. And I'm excited to use that myself. Continuing on, again, if we take a look at economic numbers, GDP growth, inflation, and interest rates favor the US dollar, where the only category that the Australian dollar ekes out a advantage is in unemployment. So, excuse me. That is sort of the breakdown. We get a -8 sell bias.
Don't forget to check out the links in the description if you want our broker recommendation, access to our free Discord, free Edge Finder, or want to chat with us on Telegram. Remember, you can watch us live in the markets every morning starting at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, and we have lots more free trading tools and content available on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching.